It is technically Tuesday, April 16th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modai, and I have three NBA player props plus an underdog fantasy entry for you guys to lock in for tomorrow's NBA betting slate. We're talking the play-in games between the Sixers and the Heat and the Hawks versus Bulls. I got 4 plays total for you guys, 3 individual player props, 1 underdog fantasy entry. I don't have any results as of today's picks because I'm recording this before the games are played. Hopefully, we had an awesome day on Tuesday. What I can give you are my total season results, which has been phenomenal, just under the 110 unit of profit, up just below 20% ROI as well, with a very good win-loss record, especially when you consider that the majority of the plays that I do end up playing are plus money bangers. So the fact that we have a winning record is really good, as evidenced by the 110 units of profit. So hopefully we can continue that luck for the playoffs. If you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we can get right into tomorrow's picks. First up, Heat versus 76ers game. I'm taking Joel Embiid over 1.5 first quarter assists, minus 120 odds at DraftKings. So to be completely honest with you guys, I gave this play out on my dub club at 4.5 assists, but the odds on that are no longer worth playing. They got nuked to high heavens, so I'm not taking that anymore. Instead, I would recommend rocking with the first quarter assists instead. This is actually a play that I really like, and initially I was debating between both plays as well. So this is a play, despite the fact that it's not what I gave out on Dub Club. It is a play that I really, really like. And so Embiid's only played 5 games since he returned from injury, so a little bit of small sample size and stuff, but he's been excellent, really, really good as a passer in those 5 games. And based on the matchup of how I expect the Heat to play the Sixers, I expect this to be a really good passing game for Embiid as well. He's cashed this in 3 of the 5 games since he returned from injury. And while he didn't cash it against the Heat, he only had 1 assist in that one. I'm expecting the Heat to be aggressive, doubling Joel Embiid from the jump. Last time these 2 teams played, it was just about maybe 10 days ago, something like that. Embiid dominated the Heat in the first quarter, and they kind of changed how they played him. In that game, he only ended with 3 assists. So you're probably wondering, okay, why do you even like the full game number? He had an absurd 11 potential assists in the game, and that's the most important number. That's more bad luck than anything that he didn't go over his assist number. And if you look at his games since he returned from injury, he's had 10 or more potential assists in 4 of the 5 games he's played since he returned. The one game that he did not get 10 potential assists, he scored 30 points, and he only played 22 minutes. He's looked healthy. He's looked great physically. They're ramping up his minutes played, and obviously it's an incredibly important game for the Sixers. And it's an incredibly important game for the Heat as well. Now, I don't expect the Heat to come out and play single coverage against the Embiid for 1 single minute like they did in that game these 2 teams played in April. Instead, I'm expecting them to send aggressive doubles at Embiid and basically say, hey, we're going to let you beat us by passing the ball. And Embiid's been really good as a passer all year, and I think he's up to the challenge. So that's why I love this Embiid play. Again, I gave out so if you're on my dub club, you're probably confused. I gave out the 4.5. If you look at those odds, they're like minus 150, not worth playing. So I'm pivoting to the assist number, or the first quarter, assist number instead. Next up, same game, Bam Adebayo, over 0.5 made 3-pointers, plus 130 odds at DraftKings, basically saying he's going to make 1 3-pointer. Not basically, that is what we're saying. He's just going to make 1 3-pointer. I got to admit, I did miss the train on this. It was priced over the last couple weeks of the regular season in the plus 300s. I missed the boat on that. But the fact that we're getting it for plus 130, I do still really like. And obviously, I still think it's worth a play, which is why I'm giving it out. And in general, Bam was shooting more to end the season. But I also think that the matchup against Joel Embiid, Embiid's not going to respect his jumper. He's gonna sag off in the paint and beg Bam to beat him from 3. And I'm not necessarily saying Bam's going to shoot like 7 3-pointers. All we need him is to make 1. And I think that Embiid's going to leave him wide open. So it's not like Bam needs to be Kristaps Porzingis or Dirk Nowitzki or whatever. He just needs to make 1. And he's quietly been shooting more recently. That's why these odds are no longer the plus 300 that they used to be. He's made at least 1 3-pointer in 5 of his last 10 games. That doesn't sound that impressive, but consider that to the previous sample size. So he's made it in 5 of his last 10. He's played 71 games this year. If you look at the first 61 games of the year, he only made a 3-pointer in a game 7 times. So he did it in 7 of the first 61 games. and now he's done it in 5 of 10. It's obviously a ridiculous discrepancy based on how he's been shooting recently, which is why I think this is worth a play. That in the games that he went over, that includes the game against the Sixers that I've been referencing a bunch recently, where he did make 1 3-pointer in that game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that his volume has been crazy, but we're not expecting him to make a crazy amount. We just need him to make 1. And I think he's going to get 2 to 3 opportunities to do so wide open, unchecked by Joel Embiid, basically saying, hey, please, by all means, beat us from 3-point range. I think he'll take a couple. I think he'll make 1, hopefully cashing out this plus 130 banger for us. Next up, we're going to the next game, Hawks versus Bulls. And I'm taking Trae Young over 10.5 assists, minus 106 odds at Caesars. So only 1 play in this game for now, but I absolutely love this play. I think this is an awesome spot for Trae Young and his assist number. So it was plus 110 when it first came out. I got it at plus 100. That's what I gave out on my Dub Club. But obviously, I would still take it at the minus 106 number that is currently available, which is what you see on the screen here. So Trae Young missed about 2 months with a broken finger. Since he's returned, he's played 3 games. He's cashed this over in 2 of those 3 games, with the most important number here being the last game he played. He played over 30 minutes, and he had an absurd 26 potential assists. That's a crazy number. So his actual assists in those 3 games were 11, 7, and 12. But his last game in which he played his normal usage, his normal minutes, not quite his normal minutes, but over 30 minutes, 26 potential assists. And that minutes part is important. His minutes have been ramping back up since he returned from injury. He only played 20 minutes in his first game, still cashed 11 assists, but in only 20 minutes. Then he played 27 minutes in the second one. And then last game, he played about 32. He came out and said that he's feeling fine. And he's going to play heavy minutes because it's a do or die game. It's a playing game. If they lose, they're out. So he should play 38, 40 minutes in this game. Would not surprise me at all. And it's an excellent matchup against the Bulls. There's a reason why I love this play. Number 1, he's gone over this number in both of the games against the Bulls this year, and he had 13 and 14 assists in those 2 games. And then he cashed it in 2 of the 3 games against the Bulls last year as well. So 5 games against the Bulls over the past 2 years, he's gone over 10.5 assists in 4 of those 5 games. And in those 5 games, he's averaging over 20 potential assists per game, which is awesome. And if you just look at the 2 games he's played against the Bulls this year, he's still averaging over 20 potential assists per game. He's just averaging a ton of assists, a ton of potential assists. And it makes sense when you look at the matchup. The Bulls are one of the most aggressive teams in the NBA, sending help to guards that run a lot of pick and roll. So the Bulls only really have Caruso as a plus guard defender, but if you just run a simple pick and roll and you're going towards the basket, the Bulls are aggressive sending help from the corners, and they're aggressive sending help off the big man that's running the pick and roll as well. Because of that, they give up a ton of assists to heavy pick and roll guards. That's Trae Young. He's like the pick and roll guard in the NBA, especially from a passing perspective. And to give you some numbers to back this up, on the entire season, the Bulls are giving up the 4th most points per game to pick and roll men. That's basically always an assist if the roll man is scoring. And their Bulls are also giving up the 5th most points per game to spot up shooters as well. That's also assisted. A spot up shot is a catch and shoot, and that's assisted. Someone has to pass you the ball. Those are the 2 main ways that Trae Young gets assists. So I absolutely love this spot for him. I think it's a great play for Trae Young and his assists. And then in terms of the underdog entry, all I did was I combined all 3 of these into 1 entry. So Embiid over 1.5 first quarter assists, Bam over 0.5 made 3-pointers, and Trae Young over 10.5 assists. Underdog's actually giving you better odds than what they standardly do. Standardly is not a word. Than what they have what they normally do for Bam and Trae. So we're getting 25 to win about 200. That's close to plus 180 odds in terms of that 25 to win 200 mark. And for reference, no other book even lets you parlay these together. I tried FanDuel, I tried Bet365, and I tried DraftKings. None of them would even let you put these 3 in a parlay. And that's kind of the advantage of this daily fantasy sportsbook, daily fantasy entry, playing it on Underdog Fantasy, because you can get these types of entries and parlay them together. So that's what we're giving out here. 3 NBA player props that I put into a parlay. So 4 plays total. Let's hope we have a good day tomorrow. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. And the last thing I'll say, which I've hinted at a bunch of times, is I do have a Dub Club where I send out all my picks. It's only $5 a month. Gets you everything that I play, both on Twitter and on YouTube. It is the same picks, just gets sent to you early sent directly to your phone, text, email, Telegram, however you want it. So I've mentioned a bunch of times that the odds have changed. If you're on my Dub Club, you kind of you don't have that issue, because as soon as I decide what a play is, the first thing I do is I send it out. I'm Dub Club. So everybody was able to get the Trae Young at plus 100. Everybody was able to get the Joel Embiid over 4.5 assists at a good number, which is why I have it. If you'd rather not pay the $5 and you'd rather just get everything for free, you can on YouTube and on Twitter. That's totally fine with me. That's also why I only charge $5, because I recognize you can get it for free. Whatever you want to do, completely fine. I just like to give people the option, and that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.